Oh, hello there. You really are fond of chatting with me, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I'd think you had feelings for me. Oh no, dear me. Pretend you didn't hear that. Oh.
Hello everybody, my name is Indeimaus, and welcome to Dark Souls, an empty, shitty, and desolate world where for most of the journey, you're gonna feel completely alone. Oh, jeez, that hits too close to home. But even in these dark times, there's always NPCs here to keep you company. Whether they're fighting with you, repairing and upgrading your gear, or they're kicking you down a pit, there are some incredibly memorable NPCs in the Souls franchise. And with this video, I'll be talking about my 10 favorites. This was not an easy list to create, so no doubt I've left off a bunch of people's favorites, but instead of being butthurt about it, leave your personal list down below. And there's one rule I set myself for this list: no summoning only NPCs, so sadly, this means no Iron Tarkus. I'm sorry, big fella, maybe another time. And as per usual, I always go to Twitter and ask people's opinions so I can hear what people like. And I got some great responses, like this one from Pyrocynical, who says red soapstone. It doesn't help. It's not an NPC, that's a stone. You have to wait for the top 10 Dark Souls stones. No, I'm not doing it. Next tweet is from Unwanted Guest, who chimes in with Bonfire Chan. What the hell's a bonfire? Oh, of course. Of fucking course. God damn it, Unwanted. Northern Lion lets me know his least favorite. Oh, this dude is your bro, but you didn't rescue him from this illusionary wall, so he's dead forever. Alright, that's a good one. And lastly, Swagster swings in with his opinion. That black guy from Dark Souls 2. Alright, good chat, guys. Thanks for your input. Don't miss out being in the next video. Go follow me on Twitter and prepare your ass for some great responses like these ones. Let's just start the video already. As a bonus character on the list, I'd like to discuss my theory on Grey Rat of the Undead Settlement. Not about the character himself, but instead about his name. His name is spelled Grey with a G-R-E-I. E-I. And then followed up with a rodent name, as in rat. Grey Rat. Indeimaus. This is not a coincidence. I'm in Dark Souls 3. Take off his mask and look inside, you bitch.
Gavlan wheel, Gavlan deal.
Starting off relatively simple here, he wills and he deals, and that's all you really need to know about this dwarf. I'm not going to be going deep into the lore of all 10 characters on the list because I'm not insane and I'm not Vaatividya. Gavlan sells me my poisonous arrows that I need to cheese giants, and he sells me the moss for when I get cheesed by poison enemies. He also allows you to sell things back to him for souls. You can always tell when he's nearby as well because of the oddly loud gulping. He shows up throughout Dark Souls 2, sometimes appearing in terrifying areas you wouldn't usually find someone chilling. Whether it's the damp No Man's Wharf or the poisonous pits of Harvest Valley, Gavlan was a great vendor throughout Dark Souls 2.
Dragon slaying.
A gentle giant and the leader of the Four Knights of Gwyn, Hawkeye Gough earns his spot on the list for a few reasons. He fucking shoots Calamite out of the sky. His voice is the one echoing throughout the worlds of Dark Souls inside the hello and I'm sorry stones. And lastly, the Four Knights of Gwyn are the most badass knights in the game. When you find Gough, he's on the top of the Battle of Stoicism gazebo after finding the crest key. Even though he's blinded by his enemies packing his eye holes of his helmet with tree resin, he can still fire up his bow with deadly accuracy, as shown in this amazing cutscene. Another giant shows up in Dark Souls 3 in the Undead Settlement, although he does have a few similarities to Gough. I don't think it's been confirmed at this point, and I'm pretty sure it's not him. Although he's pretty friendly as well, after he's done shooting giant arrows at you from above.
Let's not be greedy now.
Lautrec is remembered pretty fondly for being the gold knight you can scum kick off the edge in Firelink Shrine and then just reload the game to get his ring. He's a knight hailing from Karim and is deeply in love with his goddess Fina. This love, however, makes him not care about anyone else once he's used them. Ever since the beginning when you rescue him from the cell and he pays you back by giving you a singular sunlight medal, I knew Lautrec was an asshole. There's a few NPCs on the list who aren't exactly remembered fondly, but still have memorable moments and stand out as a character, and Lautrec is one of them. If you leave him alive, he'll murder the Firekeeper Anastasia, and then disappear into the world. Later on, you can invade him in an incredibly unique way by using the Black Eye Orb in the Grand Hall outside of Ornstein and Smol's room. And that's when you serve your own justice, you gold son of a bitch. His armor set is also some of the coolest in the game, and I definitely wore it for a good while in both Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3.
Prithee, be careful.
Solaire of Astora is easily my favorite blacksmith from the Dark Souls franchise, and that is the most nerdiest thing I've ever seen. Hey, Indeimaus, what's your favorite blacksmith from Dark Souls? Fucking Magi. He's voiced by the brilliant Sean Barrett. Seeing him return in Dark Souls 3 was one of the highlights of the early game, and there's not a lot known about his backstory. Honestly, I originally preferred the giant blacksmith who homed in Anor Londo. He was my go-to blacksmith, but after finding his rotting corpse in Dark Souls 3 and showing Andre his coal, I wasn't ready for that emotional trip.
My, the coal of that peaceable giant. Seems like ages passed. I imagine his passing was long ago. I miss the old bugger, I do. My thanks. I'll be sure this coal is put to good use. I'll be smithing weapons never afore seen by the likes of ye. It's but a small service to pay my humble respects.
If you accidentally angered him in the original game, he would straight up box you and was a relentless fight. The only way to fight him if you wanted to do it was with your own fists, let's be honest. Although I never did this. Look at him. I'm not hitting that. Have you seen his drop kicks? Jesus.
Am I a tad too late?
He kicks you into a pit to steal gear from your corpse. He locks a gate behind you and then thinks he can buy your trust back with a white soapstone. He tricks you into thinking he's Siegward and drops a bridge you're walking on. And he steals things from those he betrays and resells it to you. And even after all this bullshit, Patches, or Pate, still makes his way onto the list for being a memorable asshat. It's funny, in a world where chests are out to bite your face off and things like this exist, there's still a human being that wants to make your life a living hell. Thanks, Patches, you fucker.
To be honest, I'm in a bit of a pickle.
Siegward of Catarina, voiced by Miles Richardson. What a character this guy is. Siegward is the Onion Knight from Dark Souls 3, and no, he's not the same one from the original Dark Souls, that's Siegmaya. I know, nice naming conventions, right? The sole reason Siegward made it onto the list instead of Siegmaya is because he can't figure out elevators. No, it's because that scene where you fight the fire demon just outside the giant's tower, and then after the battle, Siegward just gives you a brew and then sits down and goes to sleep right there. What a champion. I was actually lucky enough to run into him again later on in my first playthrough, finding him stuck down the well after being bamboozled by Patches. If you rebuy the onion armor, you can throw it down there and he'll be happy to not be naked in a well. Jeez, it's the simple things, I guess. He helps you fight Yorm the Giant later on after a few more rescues. And all up is one of my favorite NPCs from Dark Souls 3.
Bearer, see, lest.
Oh god, this pitches back. How does this keep getting into my videos? Oh. Emerald Herald, or Shanalot, the name given to her by the dragons, is the leveling lady from Dark Souls 2. She was created specifically to break the Undead curse, but unfortunately, her creators failed, and she didn't come out as intended. But you know what? Sometimes she swings her legs happily at Majula, and you know what, fuckers, that gives me hope that we're all gonna be alright. Later on in the game, she also gives you the Aged Feather, which allows you to homeward bone infinitely. There's actually a child model for the Emerald Herald in the game files, but with no dialogue, so there may have been some sort of flashback plan that never went through into the final game. Just a little fact for you. Another detail that isn't obvious straight off the bat is that she has two different color eyes, one of them brown and one of them purple, which is hidden underneath her hair. Emerald Herald is my Dark Souls waifu, and if anyone wants to fight me for her, my address is on the screen right now. Come and get me. Although I have to warn you, my katana collection is huge. I don't have any katanas. Goddamn.
You are brave indeed to face your duty alone.
I decided to put both Henri and Horace into one spot. With the final 3 spots on the list, you'll be noticing a running theme. There's a few different types of NPCs throughout the Souls games. The ones fitting into the final spots are the ones that you can run into throughout the game and fight alongside for certain bosses. You originally meet Henri and Horace in the Road of Sacrifices, and they introduce you to the Blue Sentinels, and they mention they're from Astora. Henri also mentions they're looking for Lautrec. A little later on in the game, these two get separated and you'll find Horace in the Smoldering Lake, where he's gone hostile. I also recently found out that you could get married to Henri, and I was intrigued. And then I found out what marriage meant in Dark Souls, and I didn't want to do it anymore. I'd also like to mention Aegon and Arena of Karim, another duo, I guess, that you meet in Dark Souls 3. And this guy looks fucking badass. He has one of the coolest looking weapons in the game, and easily one of the coolest looking armor sets in the game. And it's really cool to see duos throughout Dark Souls. There's not a lot of teams, little 2-man teams that you find throughout Dark Souls. So these 2 sets of NPCs were really cool to find throughout Dark Souls 3.
You haven't changed a bit, have you?
Lucatiel is easily one of the most interesting NPCs in Dark Souls 2, and the Souls franchise in general, to be honest, which is hugely because of the great voice actor, Sarah Beck Mather. Lucatiel is from the Far East, known as the Land of Knights. Her skill alone allowed her to become a knight, even though she was born into an unprivileged family. Eventually, she became cursed with what you can see on her face, and she traveled to Drangleic to find a way to rid the curse. You can interact with Lucatiel in a ton of different locations throughout Dark Souls 2, and of course, fight alongside her in boss fights. I was lucky enough to actually finish her storyline on my first playthrough, and goddamn. I highly suggest checking out Vaatividya's lore video about her if you want to learn more about her without actually playing the game. Do both. Do both.
And engage in jolly cooperation.
Praise the sun. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about Solaire that hasn't been said already. This guy's a beast, and he has become a legend throughout the Souls community. He even has his own Steam emote, which I guess isn't that impressive, because even Krillin has his own emote. Scrap that. Solaire was the most memorable NPC from the original Dark Souls after I played it. He was the name I knew. He was the guy I remembered, fighting alongside in Ornstein and Smo. What a guy. What a guy. His story was an emotional roller coaster. He was looking for a son, and he didn't know what that meant, and then he found the son. He went crazy, for my playthrough anyway. He went crazy and died, and I had to put him down. And then I started again and got him all the way to the end to fight Gwyn, and he watched as I parried Gwyn to death. And then Gwyn picked him up and blew him into infinity. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to leave your favorite NPCs down below. Let me know what lists you want to see in the future. If you say top 10 Dark Souls stones, and if anyone votes up that comment, I'm gonna be mad. You guys are gonna suffer. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. If you want to check out my Patreon, go support me over there. It means a lot, and it keeps me going with all this bullshit content that I'm making that takes ages. So thank you, everybody. And finally, here's an end slate. Enjoy it. Stay until after for the bloopers. They're pretty good. And I'm just gonna start another video. Take. Hey there, everybody. My name is Indeimaus, and today we're going to be checking out some Dark Souls NPCs, and I just really want to let you guys know that I'm a big fan of Dark Souls, so it's going to be a really good time that we're going to look at. Hello, everybody. My name is Indeimaus, and welcome. Oh my god.